Hey, I'm Cheryl Linden, back with the professionals from the Shepherd Center. We're here to continue our conversation and education in terms of spinal cord injury and brain injury, what it's like to live with a spinal cord injury and or a brain injury, what it's like to work in the field of spinal cord injury and brain injury, and most importantly, what we can do and what you can do in order to prevent an accident happening to you that would cause you to have a spinal cord injury or a brain injury.
I want to ask a question of the professionals, physical therapists. I'm a mom who has kids, who has 2 daughters in biology. And so what did it take physical therapists to get where you are now?
What did it take, Kathy, to get where you are? She's still not there. No.
Nowadays, to become a PT, it's a doctorate in PT. So you go 4 years of undergrad and then 3 years of the physical therapy school.
So we'll do that real quick. How much schooling for OT?
Now it's a master's degree, so 6 years.
6 years. How much school for case management? 6 years for case management. Rec therapy?
4.
4 years for rec therapy. Speech?
6.5 years.
6.5 years. Nursing?
3 years or 4 years, depending if you get like a full undergrad degree or if you go to like get an associate's degree.
And counseling takes probably 6 to do it. So a lot of these degrees, you have to have bachelor's degrees and go on to master's or above. Okay?
Science. Go into science. A lot.
Science. Do well in science now. That will go with you the whole way through. Okay?
And my question is that how did it feel to be in a situation like that? And how did it feel like when you were in pain on the ground and feeling in shock and everything? Just asking, how did it feel?
Okay, right at the moment of the accident, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll start with you because it's a different perspective, Billy. They're wanting to know, how did that feel if you were aware of it at the moment of that accident when you're laying there? Is there pain? How do you feel? Is there shock? What's going on in your head?
The blessing of a severe traumatic brain injury is I don't remember anything, and I don't remember actually the month of July. Like, it was July 31st, and then everything was just wiped away. So I don't know. I know stories, that's all I hear. Even when I was at Shepherd, it's still all just like a montage in a movie.
So think about what it would be like if this afternoon at 4 o'clock, all of a sudden you remember nothing about today or the month before. Anybody of you guys do anything fun this past month? You did? Okay, what if you couldn't remember that fun that you had? What if it's gone? So think about, that's a different kind of shock to have when something like that goes on. Or you wake up in a hospital because, as Billy said, he couldn't remember. So he wakes up in a hospital having no idea where he is or why he's there. Alex.
Oh man, I remember the whole thing. Like, I was up for my whole accident. It was just, I remember it was just probably 2 minutes. The car accident was probably about 2 minutes, but it felt like 4 hours. And it was like when it just stopped, it's like I just started holding my ribs, and I was just like, man, my ribs are killing me. And like my homeboy got out the car. He was like, Alex, get out the car. And it was like I was finna get out the car, but it's like my legs just felt like they were drained. And I was like, I can't move my legs. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I can't move my legs. I was like, man, I can't get out this car. I just started kind of freaking out. And then I just remember the ambulance coming and stuff, and they weren't really no help, because they just kind of was trying to put me into the driver's seat, because I was 18 at the time, and he was only 16. But it was just, at the time, I felt a lot of pain, but it wasn't as much pain as I think I was supposed to be feeling. It was just, I know my ribs was killing me. It just felt like somebody was just punching me in my ribs at the most.
And how scary, again, if you have a sense, if you have ever seen a car accident, even if it's on TV, you would think it would hurt a lot, right? What about that sensation of, I'm supposed to hurt, but I can't feel my legs? Pronto.
All right, okay, so we're going, and then as soon as he braked, I knew that nothing positive would come out of this because we're going way too fast. And if you're going at that speed, if you even budge a little bit, you're done. You're done completely. And when he braked, as soon as my face hit the dashboard, that's when I just heard like a loud noise. It was like a crack, 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 boom. And then I remember like breaking the back window. And then once I like hit the ground and I hit my neck, I didn't feel any pain. Like from my crash, I was awake through the entire thing, but I didn't feel anything, like nothing at all. So I mean, the pain aspect of it, nothing. But like as soon as I hit, like I knew I was in trouble. And then I just laid there because I literally couldn't move. I just laid there on my back and I was like, uh-oh, I really messed up this time. I should have just thought this through more. And then I just waited for the cop to come, and then he came over, and my other friend was face down, and then he came over to me, and he started asking me questions, and I told him everything because I was completely fine. I just wasn't hurt, and I couldn't feel anything, and I couldn't move my arms or shoulders or anything like that. So yeah, that's what happened with me.
Since my injury level was so high, when it did happen, I don't remember feeling any pain at all, and since I couldn't breathe, I passed out just a couple minutes after that. But my buddy was giving me CPR for like 30 minutes trying to get to the marina, and they said my face was all purple and blue, so I didn't feel anything, luckily.
Right. Well, I don't remember anything because I was in a coma, but you know what's really cool? I was a journalism major, and I recorded some interviews earlier, and I was listening to the interviews back. I must have accidentally hit record because my whole accident was recorded. There was this sweetheart of a guy, and he was like, "It's all right, brace yourself, help is coming," and we got to hear it all. So that's how I know it really happened. Otherwise, I would have no idea, so.
And for the most part, guys, once that information is gone, it's gone. If it hasn't come back by now, it probably will never come back. So maybe not necessarily a bad thing, because really not a good thing to have to replay that accident over and over and over in your head as well.
How hard is it to use the restroom and to take a shower?
Ha! So we're gonna answer this in two ways, okay? I'm gonna get my OT specialist to take part of this, because I'm gonna break the question down a little bit. What is it that you have to do to help these guys with the bathroom and the shower? And then I'm gonna ask you guys to answer how hard that is. And Pranjal said he promises he's going to go all in on his answer. So you might want to pay attention. Ruth Ann.
Well, it's different for different people. If you've had a brain injury, it's different versus if you've had a spinal cord injury. One of the jobs as a therapist is to figure out the safest way for somebody to get in and out of the shower and to get on and off the toilet. Sometimes they need to sit on a bench. Sometimes they need to sit in a wheelchair that rolls into the shower. Some people can stand in the shower. Some people might need to stand and just hold on to like a grab bar like you see in some of the bathrooms. Some people have to shower with one hand. Some people have to have somebody help them in the shower. Same thing for using the restroom. Sometimes people need help getting their pants up and down, reaching around to the backside. It really depends on the person, and kind of like Cheryl was talking about how everybody's disability is different. It depends on what their skills are. I personally believe that God put this right in an easy location so you don't have to have a lot of reach with your shoulder to get there. So a lot of people can reach the front on their own, which is always appreciated.
And interesting enough, because there's a difference too, because like Molly and Billy have a brain injury. So maybe some of their things happens to be sequencing. What do you do in the shower? Possibly. And Gavin and Pranjal and Alex have spinal cord injuries, and you have various levels of dependence and independence, and it may be more of a physical thing. So Molly, how long does it take you in the shower?
It takes me about 20 minutes, and I sit down. I have to get in I have some bars, and I grab onto the bars to get in, and I sit down because I have a brace on my foot that if I'm not wearing it, it's so impossible to walk for me. So it takes me about 20 minutes or so.
Okay. So I'm curious, let's go to Pranjal here for a second. He's actually fishing something out to show you.
Okay. So.
Can we waste one?
Oh, go ahead, dude.
Okay.
I'm like 50.
This has not been used, guys, so you can pass it around, okay? Go ahead.
I use mine. I put them back in school. Though.
Oh, this is yours? He used it?
No, I'm just kidding. All right, so I can't feel
Oh.
anything, like nothing. Like here below, it's dead. I'm dead. No, it's a bad way to put it, but I just can't I can't feel any of that. So obviously can't tell when I have to pee or anything like that. So what happens is that right there goes to, you all know.
You know.
You all know. For
Guys,
girls,
think of your best friend.
for girls,
think of
it's like
this.
half of that. Yeah.
Here you go. Catch, pass it around. It's not been used. It has not been used. It's been in a sterile kit. Does anybody know what that's called? It's a catheter.
How'd you know?
They're taking a class.
All right.
Commercial.
All right. He saw a commercial. Well, go buy one, try it. No, I don't do that. But yeah, whenever like I need to pee and stuff, whenever I need to pee and stuff, I usually can't tell. Like in the beginning, when I didn't have any like idea what was going on and what that thing was, like the nurses would just do it for me. When I got to Shepherd, they're like, "You peeing yourself because we're not doing that for you anymore." So I like started doing it myself and like here and there. I usually go like every 2 to 3 hours, and if I was to talk to like a group, I knew I'd be nervous. So like here and there, like I'd pee like every 90 minutes, so I don't like pee myself. But yeah, there's like a bunch of times where I like peed myself or pooped myself even like in the beginning. But like now I got it down, so I mean it's whatever.
Because think about, if you guys had to go to the bathroom right now and your teacher was being mean and wouldn't let you leave, could you hold it? No, you guys aren't 70. You should be able to hold it. But people do not have control over that. Okay, so Alex, do you want to speak to bathroom and showers and stuff?
Well, for the bathroom, I use a leg bag because like I can't feel it. But I mean, taking a shower is no problem. Like I just hop in the shower, hop out. That's pretty much it. I mean, I sit on a chair, but yeah, I sit on like this. Exactly, that's it. Like I just pop on and then I'm good. That's it.
So how Alex manages his bladder care is different than how Pronto does. Pronto uses that catheter. Alex uses something called a condom catheter that attaches to a bag and is strapped on his leg, and his bladder just drains whenever, and all he has to do is empty the bag. Because neither of them have control of that. Any issues for you in the shower or the bathroom, Billy? Okay.
I have a specific process when I take showers, and it usually takes about 20 to 30 minutes. But if my wife tells me, hey, take a quick shower, like I'll forget something. And like I can't lean too far back because I still have double vision when I look up. And so there's a lot of balance things, and I'm afraid like, I'm just extra careful. Like I was like, dude, if I slip and bust my head, that'd be a terrible story. So it's just, you're always constantly aware that you have to be careful and be safe.
Are any of you curious how Gavin might shower, considering he's got this hole here?
He doesn't shower.
He never has showered in 2 years. Look at this boy right here. I am lying to you. Gavin,
What?
how do you deal with being on the vent and in the shower and there's batteries and all this kind of stuff?
I get nervous every time I take a shower. I don't like taking them, but my dad just sits me on a chair and wheels me in and gets it done.
Do you stay on the vent or does he bag you while you're in there?
Nah, I stay on the vent.
What kind of emotional toll does this take on you guys?
Well, at the beginning, I was obviously upset. Like, I woke up and I was like, okay, I can't play soccer anymore. All right, my hands don't work. I can't play Xbox no more. And then I was like the whole girl situation. I was like, uh-oh. So I mean, first it was really bad, but then I got to Shepherd, and like the best part about Shepherd is like you get to see like the worst of everything, and then you like see like the best too. because people always come around and like visit, and like you'll see like someone who just got injured or someone who's been injured for like 15 years. So like then you like realize like, oh hey, like why not make the best of it? Like what's worse than like a paralyzed person, like a depressed paralyzed person? So I mean that's how I looked at it.
I was just going to add that I work in brain injury, and one of the biggest things that all the brain injury therapists have to work with is kind of like Molly and Billy really understand where they struggle and the things they need to work on, but a lot of our other patients don't. They might be able to walk around just fine and get themselves dressed, but they have really bad memory, or they can't organize like a bunch of coins, or they just have trouble with lots of their thinking skills. So one of the biggest struggles that we have with our patients is getting them to understand what they need to work on, but once they get that, then they can work on it better. So I think that's credit to Billy and Molly, is that they have that, what we call insight into what they need to work on, and it gets you so much further than saying, no, I'm fine. But they're not saying that. They believe that nothing is wrong with them, because you can't see a brain injury all the time like you can see a spinal cord injury.
Because how many of you would have known that Billy was a patient? If you had just looked at everybody sitting up here, would you know before he told you? They didn't even know. What do you think's been some of the toughest stuff for you, Gavin?
Outside the injury, just getting back to what I like to do. And as far as the social life goes, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to get back to that, so I think that's been one of the toughest things to deal with and work at.
Takes more planning, right?
Yeah.
How many of you guys after school, maybe if you live near friends, just kind of get changed out of your school clothes or not and just hop out and go out with your friends? That's a good point. Did any of you do your homework before doing that? Oh, look at all those hands drop. We got some, okay? Nobody in here has asked the question that we were taking bets on we thought they'd ask. Doesn't anybody want to know how Gavin drives his chair? Do you think he just blows it and it goes? Or do you think he has to do something? Do you want to see it? All right. What he's doing right now is something called a weight shift. If you guys have ever been on, how many have been in a car for more than 5 hours at a time? Does your butt get tired? Do you move around? If you can't move around and we don't get you off your butt, you have a chance of getting a sore on your butt. Not a good thing. So Gavin periodically moves his chair up and down so that he can shift. And you're right. If he blows it hard, it goes straight. If he blows into it soft, it goes to the right. If he sips it hard, it goes backwards. If he sips it soft, it goes to the left. Go ahead. Yes.
And to kind of get the straw in the right place, you have to have a lot of tongue technique to get it where you want it.
I hate him so much.
You do have to maintain your sense of humor through all this, or it's not very easy. You run me over, you're dead. I don't care if you're paralyzed, you will be dead. I'm not bringing you any ice cream in. What do you think that is, guys? He's moving. Oh! That's called a spasm. That's an involuntary movement of his muscle. He's not controlling that. It's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it's a thing. Okay?
So that box back there?
This one.
That's his breathing machine. That's his ventilator. Without that, he's not breathing.
And without breathing, not so many good things happen. Okay?
How come y'all were speeding at 110 miles an hour that day?
Oh, how come you were speeding at 110 miles an hour that day?
I wasn't. YOLO.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding.
I wasn't the one that was driving. I was in the passenger seat. We weren't on like crack or meth or anything. We were completely sober. We're just stupid. And if you know Ohio, it's hilly, super hilly. And there's turns and stuff. We're just stupid. That's the best way to put it. So I mean, we weren't on anything. We're just dumb.
And he's right.
Oh,
He
I
wasn't.
didn't have my seatbelt on either. I forgot to tell you that. Yeah. So
He was not driving, but he made the decision to get in the car and participate. How many of you guys wear your seatbelts?
Yeah, right.
How many of you might continue to wear your seatbelts after today?
My name's Bianca, and this is for the staff. What's like the best part of your job? Like,
Awesome question. We've not been asked that. So you guys be thinking, what is the best part of your job other than your paycheck? Every other Thursday.
My favorite part of my job is seeing how our patients surprise us all the time. I met Molly when she first came in, and she was in, y'all may have learned about it, a minimally conscious state. So she would sometimes respond to things we would ask her, but usually not. But I would have never dreamed she would be here and have graduated college. Never. So I love the surprises that we get and how people just go way further than we would have ever guessed.
I think the best part of my job is very similar to Ruth Ann, but since I work a lot more with the families, it's just seeing the families being, believing in themselves. And when they first get there, they say, there's no way I can ever take this person home like this. Like, how is their life going to be? It's going to be so much different. And just seeing them over time progress into, oh, I can do this. They've gotten so much better. I feel so much more encouraged in taking them home. And, once things come together and all of the medications and supplies are in place and the families just feeling more encouraged, it really makes me feel good since I work a lot with them.
Kathy.
Wow. I pretty much love almost everything about my job except the paperwork. Just seeing people progress. Just last week I went to one of my former patients' college graduation. So that's just really awesome to see that. And just being able to go from a catastrophic injury to getting back to life and exceeding anything that they can do.
For me, it's really neat when a patient comes in and says, I love to play basketball, but I'm never going to do it again. And I'll put them in a sport chair and say, here you go, here's something you love to do. Or if you're not able to do exactly that, let's find another hobby or something you're really into, and being able to see them get excited about doing something that they really love. Another thing I really like is a lot of times when patients come in, they don't want to go out in public. They say, I'm not going out in a wheelchair. People are going to look at me funny, and I just don't want to deal with that right now. And then after their first couple outings, I love seeing them go to the new patients and say, it's really not that bad. We have a blast when we go out, and just being able to kind of share that experience from another patient.
I have like 3 or 4 different things that are favorite parts of my job. But the first thing is sometimes I have people who come in to see me and they have not had anything to eat or drink in 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. And so being the first person that gets them to where they can swallow something safely, they're so thankful to be able to eat and drink, and it really gives them back a sense of normalcy, and that is an awesome feeling, especially if it's around a holiday. I've had some people who haven't had anything to eat, and they're in the hospital over Thanksgiving, and so sometimes they get to have that time with their family and they can eat, and that's a great feeling. Also, a lot of the time, I'm the first person in the room with a patient when they're able to talk, especially if they're using a ventilator. Like Gavin was my patient, and so and his dad is here, and it's really awesome when you're the person who's in there and they're able to talk because of something that you were able to do for them. And also, if I have a patient that has a brain injury and they want to go back to work or back to a hobby. I have one patient now who, she works at CNN now, and that she and I worked on writing her resume and that kind of thing, and so that was an awesome experience. And I had a patient recently who, this is what his voice sounded like when I first got him. He sounded like this. It was really, really bad. And everybody knows exactly who I'm talking about. And by the time he left Shepherd Center, he was able to talk in a normal voice. So that was really an awesome experience.
I think the common theme here is that we have trouble narrowing it down to what we love about our jobs, and that we all love the relationships we make. But I don't think that my favorite thing is necessarily doing all those intense things like you see on ER like when you save a life, or those are satisfying. The best thing about my job is just knowing when I go home that I made a difference in someone's life. And that can be as simple as, having them say thank you at the end of the day, or that can be something more complex, like I finally got somebody's like huge surgical wound to heal, or I helped them get over being really, really sick and made them better today. It just is rewarding every day for different reasons.
And I think something, and then we'll get to your question, something to keep in mind too. When I think about all these people up here, finished his GEDs, going to college, studying psychology. Finishing up school is thinking about studying psychology. Went back to high school, is finishing up. Graduated from college. And Billy down here, still a family man, still playing his music. How awesome is that? Then the benefit is amazing, 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 amazing coworkers doing amazing things every day. And if you can find a job where you have that, it's all good. All of it's good.
My name's Devin, and I want to know, everybody knows things that people who are disabled can't do, but what are stuff that you can do that a lot of people don't know that you can do?
I'm applying for jobs, and hopefully I'll be working soon. And I also volunteer in the meantime. And just, I ride horses. I trot on the horse, so it's definitely difficult, but it's good.
And you remember, Molly has a brain injury, and she graduated from college.
Being a singer-songwriter and then having a severe traumatic brain injury terrified me because that's where all the creative juices flew. And 6 months after my accident, I had a trach in for 6 months. And but 6 months after my accident, with my trach in, I was able to write and record a song and sing it and do all the harmonies. And it's on iTunes, actually. And I'm like, boom. But no, I started CrossFit with the trach in also. And I'm a CrossFit trainer, certified CrossFit trainer now. But I never lifted weights before in my life. And just, I guess, having to push for normal kind of has given me a drive to just try things I've never done. And I can deadlift 355 pounds, which is pretty cool.
That is way cool.
But right now I'm working on a soundtrack for a feature film that's going to be shot in the summertime. So that's kind of cool.
Since I can't move my hands, you wouldn't think I could get on the computer, but I have a mouse stick that I can move with my mouth. So I can do everything on the computer.
My name is Carlos Finch, and I want to know, what would you do if your insurance didn't cover all of your injuries?
What if you, now this brings up a good point, because I'm going to pull you in on the second part of this. What would you do if the insurance doesn't cover all of this stuff? Brandy, we're going back to you for a minute.
That is a good question.
Hey, have you ever heard
come
of
to
a
your
really
case manager to save the day?
gigantic bake sale?
Yes, you do. There's lots of different fundraisers that our families do. Depending on what state our patient comes from, too. A lot of states have really good state-funded programs that can help. Government-funded programs. So that's another big part of my job, is to work with the family in the state that they're from to see what funds I can find outside of their insurance, because that comes up a lot. That was a really good question. Comes up a lot. So we work to find different avenues and monies.
Let me bring something else up. Okay, insurance companies typically pay for what's medically necessary. Since some of these guys can't walk, it's medically necessary they have a way to get around. Since Gavin can't breathe on his own, it's medically necessary he has a ventilator. But you see, life isn't all about everything that's necessary. How many basketball players are out here? How many people play on, what's the newest video? Not Xbox, what's it called? PlayStation, okay? Y'all do that. Okay, so that's part of your recreation in your life, right? That's what you like to do for fun. So tell us how much some of that equipment costs, Sarah, and tell us what insurance pays for on the fun stuff.
The fun stuff. Well, they make wheelchairs out there just for sports that you can play basketball, softball, tennis. There's actually a contact wheelchair sport called rugby. It's quad rugby that have aluminum wheels and you slam into each other. So for
Awesome.
a sport chair, they can range anywhere from like $3,000 to $6,000. Then we have bicycles, 2 types of bicycles that you can pedal with your hands. So if any of you guys are like in track or field or like running, well, if you wanted to run a 5K, these guys would get in what's called a racing chair and race that chair and push it with their hands. That can go anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000. And then a hand cycle, we have like off-road, mountain biking, all sorts of cool stuff that's about $5,000 or $6,000. So none of that is medically necessary, so insurance will pay for 0. So in addition to everything you have to pay out of pocket, now you have to come up with $9,000 or $10,000 to play the sports you like to play.
Gets expensive, huh?
My name is Batman. To conceal my identity, do you guys ever have a bad day?
Only time I have a bad day is if I used to be, like I said, I used to be like a soccer addict pretty much. So if I were to like go watch I went to my first high school game. It was my senior year, and well, this is my senior year right now. And I've played my entire life, and I was really looking forward to my senior year. And I went to my first senior year like soccer game, saw all my like friends playing, and I was like, uh-oh, this kind of sucks. But besides that, no, not really.
I'm human, so of course I have bad days. Everybody has bad days. But I don't let it get to me as much as I used to. You know, it just me. I'm always positive. I'm always, regardless of a situation, it's always positive out of any situation. So I'm always trying to find a positive.
If I don't take my naps and if I don't follow my routine of working out, lifting weights and stuff, like I'll have bad days in terms of like emotional. I'll start crying out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know. That's it.
My name's Queen, and I was wondering, are you guys happy?
Yeah, I'm plenty happy. As hell.
Right. Oh,
Right. Nice
Yeah.
language, guys.
I'm happy as hell too.
This is all
We just some happy as hell people.
We are happy as hell.
Are you happier than hell because it's a competition right now?
I am
Apparently.
happy. With my crash and everything, I mean, honestly, I couldn't have asked like for anything better. Like my recovery and everything, like, is awesome. I have like a Bugatti chair. I had like the best team at Shepherd, I think. Like, I have like the best parents, the best girlfriend. I mean, I'm fine. I'm cool.
How about you, Alex? You happy?
Yeah, I'm good. You know, every day is different, but at the same time, you know, I always find positive in every day. So.
Billy.
Please don't cry.
I'm not. I'm gonna try.
I'm not playing
I'm serious. Dude, I'm not. Dude, tissues.
Don't you all cry. It's not that competition.
I
Then I'm
cry
gonna
on
win.
spot too.
No, actually, surprisingly, just with my recovery, the love of my family, my faith, and everything, like, I'm actually like in the best shape ever. It's really surprisingly strange. But before, I was a musician, traveling musician. You know, I'd traveling musician things. But like, I've had to quit a lot of things, and yeah, I mean, I'm a CrossFit trainer now. Surprisingly so. I never lifted weights before in my life, and now I can deadlift 355 pounds. That's pretty cool. But no, I'm a better father. I'm a better husband because it actually helped me. Like, I had to work on it. I always saw myself like after the accident. I knew that in order to become close to normal, I'm going to have to like double work harder. And I could either define myself by my TBI, my traumatic brain injury, or redefine what normal is and redefine what a traumatic brain injury victim is. And that is what I'm doing. I'm making forward motion, and I'm becoming a better person because of it.
You know, a former patient of mine told me the other day, I was catching up with him on the phone. He lives up in New York, and he said, you can blame your accident for where you are, but you can't blame the accident for where you go the rest of your life, because that's up to you. We can take one more question.
My name's Taj, and I wonder what's you guys' best moments at Stefferson? That's what's called, Stefferson? Whatever.
Both moments at Shepherd Center?
Yeah.
Best moments.
I mean, there's so many good moments, you know. You had the pranks like they're talking about, and getting our fingernails painted. But I guess just bonding. You know, bonding with all the other patients. Just making good friends, I guess.
All right, so when I was there, I had him, another kid in a power chair, and one night it was like 12:30ish. I was in bed, like I just heard ramming on my door, like it just kept on going. And I was like, "What's going on out there?" So I got out, opened the door, and I asked them, "What's the deal? Like, why aren't you guys sleeping?" And they were like, "There's pizza in the refrigerator." They can't move, so I had to go out, open the refrigerator, steal some random dude's pizza, microwave it, and feed it to them. So that was probably one of my top favorite moments. So that was fun.
I don't know. I mean, I had a lot of great moments at Shepherd. I mean, just meeting people, and you know, like them not judging me, and like not looking at me as a criminal or anything. You know, it was really a great thing, and them actually wanting to get to know me, and not just try to look at me and be like, "Oh, you're this or you're that." You know, that's always great when you actually have people that want to get to know you and know things about you.
I guess I had my jaw wired shut for 6 weeks, and then when I finally got it off, I got to try solid food, and yeah, it was bad. It wasn't good at all. Just saying. But it was good that I got my.
That you got everything wired up?
When I first met this kind person sitting next to me, but she really bribed me to say that. So,
I did.
yeah, she owes me $200, so.
So that might be the best moment there. I don't know. You guys, appreciate it.
Hi, this is Billy Wilkerson, and this is the song Around the Bend that I wrote and recorded with my trach-in 5 months after my accident. It's a song called Around the Bend, and it was for the film Jack and the Dust Bowl, made by Whitestone Motion Pictures. It's a song about overcoming obstacles and making forward motion one step at a time.
Wake me up when the sun comes, I'm not sure I see the light. I blink and it'll be morning as my eyes cling to the night. I need a good cup of coffee to spark my sullen bones. A kiss from you to remind me I can't live this life